There's a kind of person you don't see often, not because they're hiding, but because they chose not to show up. In a world that never stops talking, silence feels strange. Everyone is sharing something, a moment, a thought, a feeling. The feed never sleeps, and somewhere in the middle of all that noise, there are people who just aren't there. There are people who just aren't there. No stories, no updates, no proof they exist. We see their empty profiles and we assume things. They must be lonely. They must have nothing going on. Maybe they're struggling. But what if we're wrong? What if their silence isn't emptiness, but fullness? Because not posting doesn't mean not living. It just means living without an audience. Somewhere along the way, life stopped being something we lived. It became something we presented. We didn't just go places anymore. We performed them. We didn't just feel things. We framed them. Every moment started asking the same question. Is this good enough to share? And when you spend your life thinking about how things look from the outside, you stop being inside them. Part of you steps back, always watching yourself. Will this get likes? Does this make me look interesting? What will people think? The moment splits in half, half lived, half managed. The people who don't post, they stop splitting. They let the moment be whole again. Your brain is wired to crave validation. Every like, every comment, every notification, it releases dopamine. Not happiness, just a signal. Do it again. You were noticed, keep going, and for a while it feels good, you feel real, approved, seen. But the brain adapts fast. What once felt like enough stops being enough. 10 likes feel like failure. Silence feels personal. Your worth starts living inside a system you can't control. Now look at the people who don't post. They're not numb, they're not disconnected. They just stopped measuring their life by reactions. They know a moment mattered because they felt it, not because anyone else confirmed it. Their happiness doesn't need proof. Their relationships don't need captions. They're full, so they don't reach outward. Sometimes silence isn't a choice at first. It's a feeling, a tightness in the chest before you hit post, a nervousness while waiting for reactions, a heaviness that comes with being watched. If you grew up being judged for being yourself, your body learns something early. Being seen is not safe. Attention didn't feel neutral. It felt exposing. So over time, you got quieter, not because you had nothing to say, but because your nervous system was protecting you. Not posting becomes a way of staying regulated, of not giving strangers access to your inner world, of keeping something sacred, just for you. This isn't weakness, it's wisdom. The body learned before the mind caught up. There's a pattern most of us recognize. The things that feel most real are the least announced. The relationship that's actually working doesn't need constant proof. The person who's truly confident doesn't post about confidence. When something is secure, it rests. It doesn't need to convince anyone. The loudest declarations are often the most fragile. When happiness needs witnesses, it's still searching for reassurance. When love needs captions, it's asking to be validated. But when something is deeply felt, the need to show it fades. People who don't post aren't withholding. They're just full, and fullness doesn't perform. Being seen all the time does something to you. You start monitoring yourself, editing your reactions, shaping your words. You become two people, the one who lives and the one who watches. And that split, it's exhausting. You stop knowing who you are when no one's looking, because you've spent so long being shaped by being seen. Privacy gives you something back. Space to feel things without explaining them. Space to change without an audience keeping score. Space to be messy, confused, human, without it becoming content. Some people step back not because they hate connection, but because they need coherence. A life lived entirely in public loses its depth, not from emptiness, from overexposure. You're in the middle of something beautiful, a sunset, a laugh, a quiet conversation, and then a thought interrupts. This would make a good post, and just like that, you're no longer fully there. You step out of the feeling and into the framing. Is the lighting right? Will this make sense to someone who wasn't here? Each question pulls you a little further away. The people who don't post, they stay in the moment. They let it pass through them unrecorded. And those moments, they don't survive as content, but they survive as memory, as something felt, as something real. Because some things can only be kept by letting them go unwitnessed. Not all silence is the same. Some people don't post because they feel grounded. Others don't post because they feel ashamed. The difference is this: healthy silence expands your life offline. Unhealthy silence makes it smaller. If you're not posting but you're still present, still connected, still alive in your own world, that's peace. But if you're not posting because you believe your life isn't good enough to be seen, that's pain. The goal isn't to disappear. It's to feel safe enough to exist, whether anyone is watching or not. Before you share something, pause. Ask yourself, if no one could see this, I still want it. This cuts through performance. It shows you whether you're choosing the moment or curating it. Am I sharing from fullness or from fear? Fullness doesn't rush. Fear does. What parts of my life feel safer when they stay mine? Some moments lose meaning when exposed. Some relationships grow better in the quiet. These questions won't shame you into silence. They'll just remind you. You get to choose. There's a kind of strength that never shows up online. It lives in the meal no one photographed, the conversation no one else heard, the decision that changed everything. Without leaving a trace, a life that doesn't need witnesses is not a small life. It's a grounded one. When you stop organizing your world around being seen, something settles. Your attention returns. Your emotions stop performing. You're allowed to be inconsistent, to change quietly, to just be. And that brings a kind of peace that approval never could. So if you felt the pull to step back, to keep certain things private, to live a little more off-screen, there's nothing wrong with you. You're not missing out. You're not disconnected. You're just listening to something deeper than the noise. And maybe, just maybe, the most meaningful lives are the ones that don't need to be seen to be real. If this resonated with you, you're not alone. What's one part of your life that feels better when it stays unwitnessed?